ready to finish our bottom hem. And we're going to need a few things from our kit. So as I mentioned, we're using a 3-cord widget kit for this sample shade that we're making. So we're going to open up the kit and I'll show you what's included. So in the kit, you're going to get a list of what is included, which is the widget. And in this case, it's a 3-cord widget. You can get a 2-cord or a 4-cord. You'll get the mounting screws for the widget. You're also going to get a hem stiffener, which is right here, with a sticker on it that says steam press flat before using. We fold it up like this so that everything stays in a nice compact space for shipping. And then in this Ziploc bag, you're going to find the smaller parts. We include enough ladder tape for your project. These are the 2 mounting screws that you're going to need to install the widget on the head rail or our wood mounting board. You're also going to get 3 brass rings, which are going to go at the bottom of each cord, and you're going to get 3 screw eyes. If you have a 2-cord widget kit, you'll get 2 screw eyes and 2 brass rings. And if you order a 4-cord widget, you'll get 4 screw eyes and 4 brass rings. You're always going to get 2 installation screws, and that's to install the widget itself. So we're going to put those aside. We'll put the widget aside for now. And we're going to put the screw eyes aside. We don't need those just yet. And we're also going to put the ladder tape to the side. So what we're going to be using right now first thing we're going to do is we're going to get, this is Skirtex and this is the hem stiffener. We're going to remove the sticker and we're going to press it flat. It's relatively flat, but you can see that it still has some folds in it. Once you press it, all those crease marks will disappear. So now you'll need to cut your Skirtex. It's been cut down to the 4 inches, which is our double hem. If you need to cut it down any more in length, you can do that at this time. And I like to cut my Skirtex about 1/4 inch narrower than the width of my shade. So I'm going to kind of line it up, keeping a little gap on the edge and a gap over here. Now I'm going to turn up and I'm going to turn this under. I'm going to be careful to make sure that everything is turned in and aligned on the edges. Put a little pin in place just to keep things where you want them. And make sure everything is tucked in a line on both ends. And then I have all the fabric tucked down inside. So after I've pressed everything up, I like to stitch this side down. So I'm going to stitch it down the same way I did my side hems. You can start down at the bottom and you can stitch up this side. And on these sides, I use more of an invisible running stitch. So I'm just going to be catching a little bit of the fold on each side of my shade. So a little bit of this top fold, it's about 1/4 of an inch, and about 1/4 of an inch of the fold beneath. And then when you pull it, it's going to become an invisible stitch. This is called a ladder stitch. There are many different applications for using a ladder stitch. And when it's used effectively, it becomes an invisible stitch. So that's why I like to do it on the side. Again, try and keep thread from knotting, and once you pull it straight and taut, it'll close up this gap right there. Continue the ladder stitch on this little part of side hem right here, so I don't see the stitch line. So I'm just taking about 1/4 of an inch from each fabric. A little bit from the top and a little bit from the bottom. When I get to where I'm back over the lining, I'll go ahead and switch back to a whip stitch. There's a knot that you try to avoid. Again, I'm just going to take a little bite from the lining and a little bite into my face fabric. When I get back to this other side hem, I like to switch back to that invisible ladder stitch. Then I'm going to get ready to turn the corner, continuing that ladder stitch. And I just take a few stitches, and then at this point I'm going to stop because I need to get the weight bar in. So this is a steel weight bar that I've cut down to our shade width, and I like to cut this about 1/4 of an inch narrower than the width of the shade. And you'll see that it's silver and it's kind of a raw, rough metal. So the next step before I insert it is I have some white duct tape, and I can wrap it. So I find if I center my weight bar on the tape, I can get by with one piece. This is a 3/4 inch wide. So here's the other side. You'll see that it's kind of aligned in the middle. And then I like to take the corners off a little, just to eliminate some of the bulk. I sort of notch my ends like that. Do the same to the other side. This doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be concealed when it's inside the hem. So the first thing I do is I take the little tabs at the end, fold those in, and then I can just rock the weight bar on that edge, and then I can flip it around and rock it and press. And now it's covered. So from the open side, I like to insert the weight bar so that it's closer to the back of the shade. So when I insert it in the folds, the Skirtex, it's going to be on top of the Skirtex. And because I don't stitch down all the side hems all the way, I only stitch it where the lining is, I can get the weight bar up under. Sometimes it's tricky. So that it sits inside. So now my weight bar is sitting down here on the bottom of my hem, and I can continue to do the ladder stitch on the side hem. So now both my side hems are stitched up. I'm going to put a small knot at the bottom here. And in your kit, every kit comes with one clear hem grip. Looks like this. And for this basic flat Roman shade, we're just going to put the hem grip in the center right at the bottom of our shade. You can slide it over. You want to gently get it up over the weight bar. You don't want to pry it open too far because it could snap and crack. But these hem grips, they have a little groove on them. And when you use a 3/4 inch weight bar and you slide this hem grip on, the little grooves at the top of this hem grip are going to catch in the ideal spot to secure your weight bar right in place as you're pulling and raising the shade. If you don't want your hem grip visible and in the bottom here in this layout, there are instructions for doing other versions. They're modified concealed hem grips where with a different fabrication technique, you can get the hem grip up here. So check out our blog on the website, centurionrs.com. Go to the Widget blog, and you'll see several posts that give instructions for doing a modified concealed hem grip. So this is not visible because it's now going to be up here behind the shade. So now our bottom hem is done, and we're ready for the next step.